Hi, in this video I'm going to cover the uses and the installation of the global communications stacker DeStacker. They're commonly called just stackers. Okay, so it comes in this box here. So I'll just move this out of the way now. I'll just show what comes inside the box. We have a stacker, a DeStacker, and a power unit. Okay, the user manual here as well. Why would we use this? It's a pretty common problem. You want to have something like a Sky Plus HD box installed or a FreeSat Plus box. You only have a single cable running from the attic to the room where you want to put this in, and as you know, you'll need two feeds to feed something like a Sky Plus box. So how do you run two feeds through a single cable? And this is the niche market where the global stacker has generally dominated for the last number of years. So what it requires is the single unit that comes together, the stacker DeStacker, a satellite dish with quad LNB, where you have at least two outputs on it being used here, and then a total of 5 cables, each connected either end with F connectors, and you can do this on runs of up to 30 meters. Okay, so let's just give an overview of how to actually install this. So imagine we have a satellite dish mounted outside, a Sky dish here, and we're after connecting 2 ports and bringing down 2 feeds. And if we look at the end of the cables here, we have in this case F connectors. For a quick demonstration here, we actually just a very easy push on F connectors. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 feeds and feed them into the stacker unit, which I'm just going to disassemble in front of us now, and show you how we can convert this to a single cable. So disassemble it like this, and what we'll do is, there's 2 inputs here. There's LNB1 input, LNB2, and the output, which is marked as common. Okay? So if we look at the frequency range, that we can see LNB1 covers just the satellite range, but the LNB2 covers both terrestrial and also the satellite range. Now, on an installation like this, that actually makes no difference. These LNB1 and 2 are completely interchangeable, but there is other uses, and another video we have in our series on stackers that will cover this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to push on the first input here, and the second input. So we have both 2 feeds feeding into the stacker now, okay? And we're going to get a single cable here, which is going to represent a cable that we would have maybe already running from the attic down to our main television point, okay? And we push on this one here. So now we have 2 inputs and a single output. And we could put this back in here, and we could seal this back up. We'll just slide it on like this, okay? And we could use a tie wrap on the back, just a clip on here, and actually just clip this onto a pole. It's very important that it's left pointing downwards, simply because it'll allow us to make sure that water won't go into the stacker. If you mounted it upside down, this would be very problematic for you quite quickly. In fact, as soon as it rains, okay? So that's the stacker part. So now what we've done here is we've combined 2 separate signals into one. And we have a cable then, which will terminate, let's say, in our main living room, right next to where we would have our Sky Plus box. So we're running this cable in at this point here. What we can do is, if we look on the bottom of the DeStacker here, we'll see is there's a common, and at this point it's an input, and now we have LNB1 and LNB2 marked, and we can actually feed those signals back. Split a single input, split it back into 2 feeds, LNB1 and 2, and use that to power a Skybox. So what we'll do here is, I'm just going to feed this directly in here, connect that on, and what we need to do is, the DeStacker here has a power unit that comes with it. So we'll just take the 3-pin plug here. I'm going to connect it into the power unit, just connect it here, and if we see here, we have an input DC in here, and as soon as we do that, we'll see that we have power here, and this will actually send power all the way up to the stacker, and you can see the light on the stacker has now turned on already. So what we're going to do at this point is, we're simply going to come along, let's move this out of the way. We have 2 cables here, and we have a Sky Plus box here. So I'm just going to rotate this Sky Plus HD box around. And what we'll do is we'll take this input here, We'll push it on. So once again, for quick demonstration here, we're using these push-on F connectors. Normally the twist-on type most people would be using. And we just take these two feeds, and on the far end, we will simply come along and we'll feed them. So there's no particular need in this setup to match LMB1 and LMB2 in terms of here, because they're completely interchangeable because they're only using the satellite frequency on it. And this will work extremely well. The big disadvantage of the system is twofold. There's a limit rather of about 30 meters on the range that this particular unit can cover, and there's a way you can amplify to cover greater distances. But probably 95% of all installs, the cable runs will be less than 30 meters. But and the other disadvantage of it is the price. Stackers are not cheap. It's a very limited technology. There's only 2 companies I know of who have actually developed this to a high level, and of those, the global one is definitely the most popular and probably the best. So that's it anyway, an overview of how you install and use a stacker or DeStacker in your house.